We are going to run through the copy application next. You'll see on this screen that you have all of your applications available to you, including the copy, the email, and the fax, and then it has a couple of icons below that, which are the jobs folder and the device application, which the device application you will not have to go into, as that will be more for service techs and IT. So what we're going to focus on is the copy screen. Once you open up the copy screen, you're going to see that you have all of these options in this list. And you can see there's multiple settings that you can change all in one list here, rather than having different tabs that you have to scroll through or pages that you have to scroll through. Now everything is set up more like a smartphone or a tablet, which allows you to just scroll up and down to get to the different settings. So if you take a look at the keypad here at the top, this is where you'll type in how many copies you would like to make. And this is where you can type that full number in, and you can delete it using the little X in the right hand corner at the bottom. Now in the top right corner, you'll see your Start button is now located on your tablet screen. There is no longer a side button for your starting or your resetting any settings or any type of sleep mode, anything like that. That would have been off to the side from your old machine. Now everything is going to be done right from the tablet screen. So you will see the Start button up in the right hand corner to just start your basic copy job. As we scroll down, you'll see that in the top first 4 settings, you'll see the first one is your output color. And once you click on any settings in this list, you'll notice that it gives you a pop-up menu, and this allows you to choose from the different options that show up. And you'll see that the black and white is defaulted for you, but if you do want to choose color, you'll want to choose the auto detect button, as that will allow you to detect between pages that are color and black and white, rather than just counting it as a color click altogether. If you choose the color button, that will select all of your copies, whether they're black and white or not, and make them just a color click. The second button below is your double-sided and single-sided options, and you will notice that it does give you all of your combinations here with the 1 to 1-sided, 1 to 2-sided, 2-sided to 2-sided, and your 2 to 1-sided. However, if you do ever see that there's a More button at the bottom of the list, you can click that to open up a little bit more of an intricacy in the page that shows. And in the double-sided options, this just shows you what your page will look like. So if I choose 2 to 2, it'll just show me that I have the single-sided and double-sided document going to double-sided again. I want you to pay attention though that there is an OK button up here in the corner, and you do want to make sure that you are selecting the OK button to save any settings that you do change within the app. Next in the list is your paper supply. This is where you would go if you wanted to select a specific tray for, say, labels or envelopes, anything that is special stocks that have been loaded into the machine prior. This will allow you to see that in this list and give you the option to choose from there. You'll notice that in this list they show you your size, they also show you your type right here where it says plain, and then they also show you your color. And on to the right of that, you'll also see this little box which just kind of shows you the level of the paper that's in that tray. So if you have multiple documents in there, or you have multiple reams in there, it'll show that it's going to be a little bit closer to the top, and vice versa if it's running low. Now you will notice that the one at the bottom there, that is grayed out. This is your bypass tray, so this is where you will find any of those special labels, card stocks, envelopes that have been loaded. They'll actually show up at the bottom here, and that is going to be known as your Tray 5 bypass tray. Below the paper supply, you'll find your finishing option. And when you click on that, this will give you your option for all of your stapling functions. So you'll see that it does give you a few different options here right in this front list, starting with your one staple portrait, one staple landscape, and then your 2 staples portrait. So this gives you a brief description with this little picture showing you what it's going to look like on your copy when it finishes at the machine. If you click more, you'll notice that if I click the 1 staple, this allows me to just see a breakdown a little bit bigger of what that's going to look like. You'll also notice that the machine does auto-collate. However, if you want it to be uncollated, you will select it from this selection here. Below the uncollating, you'll find right here your portrait and landscape options, and next to that you'll find your paper supply if you need to pull from a specific tray for that finishing document. Again, always remember to click the OK button at the top right corner to save any settings you've changed. As we scroll down in this list, you will find that you have a reducing and enlarging option in here. When you click on that, that's going to give you basic percentages. However, if you click the More button, that will just show you a larger list of the different percentages that you have available to you. Next is your original type. This allows you to change your original document that you're scanning to be a photo and text, just a photo, text, map, newspaper, and magazine, and then they give you a few more options just to adjust the contrast or the resolution of those documents according to what you're scanning. So if you were to be scanning a photo that only has a photograph on that document, you would want to select your photo, and so on and so forth. The next option is your lighting and darkening option, and you'll see to the right that this has a little block which just shows you that you can slide this either to be lightened or you can make it to where it can be darkened. The default is set to the center, which is your normal setting. Below the lighting and darkening, you'll find your original orientation, which will allow you to change the orientation of your scan or your copy from portrait to landscape if you desire to change that. Next is your original size button. In the original size button, you will find that it is set to auto detect your size. However, if you are copying an odd size document or something that's on the glass that could possibly be skewed or seen as something larger or smaller than your regular 8.5 by 11, you can come into this setting and change it from a preset scan area to one of these document sizes here. What that'll do is that'll just communicate with the glass to measure only that area you've chosen, so it forces whatever is in that area to the size paper you've chosen. You can also create a custom scan area where you create your own size paper that it measures, and you also have your mixed size originals for if you're doing multiple size copying with 8.5 by 11 and 8.5 by 14, or basically any other sizes that don't match up together when you run them through the feeder. Next in this list is your booklet creation. All this allows you to do, if you turn that on, is when you run your original documents through the feeder, this will turn it into a booklet format, allowing it to be front and back of a certain document that you're printing on, which will create it in a booklet format to just fold at the end yourself. Allows you to basically make a pamphlet or some sort of a handout that you can do from the individual pages you've copied to when they come out at the end. They're on half of the sheet of paper, or you can choose a larger size paper such as 11 by 17 so that you can see it as a full-size booklet. Below booklet creation, it allows you to choose special pages. So if you are doing a booklet, this will allow you to pull a special page from the bypass tray. So say you wanted to attach a cardstock document to that cover, this is where you would go to choose that. Right below special pages is your build job setting. All this allows you to do is when you've turned that on, This will allow you then to see that everything that you run through the feeder or the glass will be held at the machine rather than sending it out all in one job. It will hold it at the machine until you've scanned everything that you want to. A lot of the times this is used for if somebody has a large job such as 300 documents that they need to copy. You'll notice that 300 copies is not going to fit into the feeder, so they would have to run multiple sets of it through the top feeder. When you have the build job setting on, what this will do is it will hold the first set that you run through in the machine before it actually sends it out. That way you can scan your next set and it'll combine them into one job. The same setting will be found in scanning, and we'll go over that when we get to that setting. Now you'll notice that you have a Show Additional Features button here. When you click that, that will expand your list, which will allow you to see some more image adjustments that it gives you here, including contrast, sharpness, and saturation. And right below that you'll see an automatic background suppression. What that'll do is if you're copying from colored documents, normally you would see a shadow appear on your document, and this will basically remove that shadow out of your copy altogether, giving it a nice clear finish. You'll also see that these color options are grayed out. If we were to choose color, these would then show up, allowing us to adjust the color presets, color balances, and saturation. But as you scroll down in the list, you'll see that the next set of buttons that show up in this list here are going to be layout adjustments. So the edge erase will allow you to decrease the margin of your document. Image shift will allow you to shift the image that is on your actual original so that when it comes out you could shift it to the left, shift it to the right, depending on what you would like to do. The mirror image and negative image, these allow you to create a backwards image or one that is inverted in its color. Below the negative image button, we then get into our output settings, and you'll notice that your book copying is the first one. Now it is grayed out. We do have to select a specific color whenever we are doing book copying, but if you are to do book copying, the setting that this allows you to have is if you were to do a copy from a book on the glass normally, you would have to fold a page over or hang the book off of the side so that you can get your certain page. Now what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to place that book completely on the glass, matching it in the top left corner, and then when you choose your book copying feature, it'll give you the option to choose both pages, just the left page, or just the right page. This will allow the machine to detect which page is which and copy both of those pages onto their own sheets of paper. Below the book copying is your annotations. This allows you to attach page numbers, comments, dates, and bait stamps to all of your copies right from the machine. As we get to the bottom of the page, you'll notice there is a page layout option, which allows you to create multiple sheets on one piece of paper. So if you had 4 documents, you could actually make all 4 documents show up on just one sheet of paper. You also have below that a sample job, which allows you to see a sample printout. If, say, you're doing a large job of 100 copies, this will print out one page to let you take a look at all your settings. Below the sample job is your Save Current Settings. This allows you to save any presets into the machine that you would like to, which basically just allows you to create your own little presets. And Retrieve Save Settings is where you would go to retrieve that preset out of the machine. Right at the bottom, you'll notice your Reset button. This allows you to click that to reset any settings you might have changed and send you back to the default screen.